and thank you for tuning in to the Nightstalker Podcast. Before we begin the episode, I have to make a disclaimer due to the nature of the topics we will be talking about on this show. Please note that we will be talking about cruelty and violence that may offend some people, as well as religious context and imagery that may be inappropriate to some. Thank you for listening and enjoy as we dive into this episode of our podcast.
Good evening and welcome to the Nightstalker Podcast. I am your host, the Nightstalker.
And I am the Professor.
And welcome. So, tell me, Professor, what scares you?
A lot of things, really.
like serious? Like, are you? Would you say you're a scared type of person, or like, would you say you have only a couple fears?
I would say I only have a couple of real fears, but a lot of, what ifs and anxiety-related type fears.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would say, for me personally, I don't really think I have that many fears. Like, I also understand, like, what you meant by anxiety. I really hate wasps, but I wouldn't say, like, if, like, a loved one of mine was, like, falling off a cliff and there was a wasp in the way, that I'd be like, oh, no, I'm not gonna get you. Like, I'm too afraid. But, but yeah, you know what? That made me think, what are people afraid of? So, that's why I thought it'd be a good idea if we talk about the phobias.
The top 10 most common phobias?
Oh, yes. Only the most common of common phobias. Something that almost everyone we run into has. That isn't running out of money.
So, phobias.
Phobias. So, I got the top 10 right here of the most common phobias. Among some other rare types, but I think let's just go with the top 10 most common first. So, number 10.
Are we going from least most common to most common, or?
Yeah, 10 to 1.
Okay, 10 to 1.
Alright, so, number 10. Social phobia, also known as the fear of social environments. I actually see a lot of people having
yeah, I can understand why this phobia is so common. Social phobias doesn't amount to just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fear of one or more social situations. So that classic trying to make a speech but you're too nervous, so envision everyone in their underwear type deal.
I never actually really got that. Because it's like, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just imagine everyone's in your underwear and you'll be fine. And I'm just kind of like, alright, if they're all in their underwear, then I'm going to feel weird that I'm looking at everyone in their underwear. Like, that's just an odd way to go about it. You're better off, for me, if it was like giving a speech or a presentation, it'd be just look above everyone's heads.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't need to look at people in the eye when you're speaking in a public fashion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, shoot, we did, like, how many plays in high school,
Speaking of which, we were in the theater club class in high school. Production class?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a lot, actually. I can't remember how many. Less than 10 big ones, but yeah, I mean, as long as you don't expect, or not expect, but as long as you don't focus too much on who's watching you, everything's fine.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on that. I mean, there's nothing more nerve-wracking than when it's like, alright, now it's your turn to perform your scene in front of the whole class, and you're just like, wow, really hope I don't trip on my lines.
Right? Yeah, social phobias. A lot of people with social phobias really fear the negative evaluation from others.
I can understand that. I mean, like, I work in, like, the business sales realm, and, like, you can just tell when, like, you're shaking someone's hand for the first time, that you can just kind of tell when they're not a real social person. Not that there's anything against them, but, like, they don't have that confidence in the handshake, maybe they're not looking you in the eye. You can just tell, like, yeah, this guy doesn't, or gal, doesn't really want to be here, They'd rather be somewhere else.
Yeah. So, first on the list is social phobias. What's next?
Number 9. Aerophobia. Or the fear of flying.
Wait, what? Aero?
Yeah, it's like Aerosmith, right? So, aerophobia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I knew it Yeah, no, fear of flying, and I guess I'm not too surprised that it's on here. I'm sure there's a lot of people who hate flying in planes and stuff. Me, on the other hand, I love flying, especially taking off, and you know when the plane goes up, like you're at that like 45 going up, or that 90, and you're like kind of in the back. I love that feeling.
Every time I go on a plane, and we're about to start off on the runway, I always imagine I'm in one of those X-Wing fighters from Star Wars, and they're making like an attack run. Yeah.
Nice.
It always made flying feel more fun.
Let me ask you this. I think it started after 9/11 when planes would land and people would, you know, clap that the plane landed. Are you one of those people that claps?
Oh, of course, man. I regularly take 18-hour flights, and you better damn hope the pilot will land you properly.
Okay.
Or land the plane properly and safely.
Alright, yeah, that's understandable. Because, like, the only plane flights I take are, like, to Orange County and back. So that's like an hour. I literally have hopped on a plane to John Wayne Airport from here, go to sleep like 10 minutes into the flight, and I'm waking up to, oh, this is your captain speaking, we're about to land, and I'm just like, oh, what do you know? Slept right through it.
I mean, even those short flights, I offer like a polite golf clap.
I do that too. I mean, I don't get all into it like, yeah! But like, when we're landing, I'll kind of go like, yeah, let's get out of here. I can use the bathroom, But, no, I can understand why people are terrified of flying, especially like I just kind of said earlier, post 9/11, I'm sure a lot of people were afraid to get on a plane. But, let's go to number 8.
Oh, wait, before we move on, fun fact.
Yeah.
The fear of flying is also known as pteromerhanophobia. I don't know why it's called that, but
really?
I prefer aerophobia. Yes.
That's funny. So it's either aerophobia or
pteromerhanophobia.
Huh. I wonder why they would give it 2 names.
Aerophobia is probably the more common name that everyone knows, and this is the more specific name.
Like the scientific name?
Yeah, there are multiple phobias that have more scientific names. Kind of like, how dogs are called dogs by normal people, but scientists call them canines because that's their specific genus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like that.
Oh, alright.
So, what's next?
Mysophobia, or the fear of germs.
Oh, like, what's another? There's a more common word for it.
I thought people just called it germophobia. To be
germophobia. I think the difference between germophobia and mysophobia phobia is that germophobia is more about the fear of the germs and the bacteria, where mysophobia is fear of getting dirty and getting all that dirt, bacteria, and germs on you.
Right. People always make fun of me saying that I'm a germaphobe, especially like I have younger sisters, and when they would get sick, I would literally be like, quarantine yourself in your room, or I'd quarantine myself in my room to stay away from them.
Reverse isolation? Pretty
much, yeah, because I hate getting sick. I am too busy to get sick.
Yeah, getting sick isn't a fun time.
No, it's not a fun time, but, I can't just get sick, take a day or 2 off of work, rest up. It's like, I gotta keep going, especially now we're getting into the winter time. So it's gonna be raining, and of course I gotta be outside, for a majority of the day. So, I hate getting sick, and when people are sick, I will literally, kind of be like, all right, well, I'll talk to you when you're better.
I always get sick on the turn of the seasons. So from winter to spring, or from summer to fall. Like that time where the weather just starts to shift, I always feel like shit.
I kind of experience that too in a way, but I wouldn't call it being sick, but going to spring, from winter to spring, or is it fall, or is it summer to fall? There's just one period where I feel hella weird and I swear I'm getting sick, and then I'm not actually sick because I'm like, well, if I was sick, I'd be feeling like this. But no, I feel what you mean. Let me ask you this: do you have allergies?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's a bigger theme with people who got allergies.
Yeah.
I don't really...
Like, the change in the weather really fucks up my system.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't really get that because I don't really have allergies. The only thing I really dislike is fire season because I'm outside so much, especially last year when the fires were real bad. I had my team wearing masks, and even then, I'd come home, I'm just blowing my nose, and there's nothing but just freaking ash and blood.
Last year was so bad. Like, the sky turned black.
It looked apocalyptic. Like, I couldn't believe what was going on. Yeah, I know. I made my team at work. I was like, you all have to wear masks. I'm not letting you guys go outside without a mask on. But, no, people always make fun of me because of that. Or, I mean, like, even back when we were in school, I don't know if you ever saw me, but you know when kids would get the flu shot and they always would get sick? I never got the flu shot, so I never got sick. But when people got sick, I don't know if you ever noticed, but I would always, like, kind of, like, not be around people.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Someone made fun of me one time, like, after he tried touching me, I was like, get away from me!
So, the purpose of flu shots isn't to get sick. It's to prevent you from getting sicker.
Yeah, well, isn't it supposed to be, you get the shot, and it's supposed to make your immune system not get sick, but it gets used to the virus?
Yeah, because it introduces a benign version of the virus into your body. That's why people who get the flu shot, they always, right afterwards, exhibit flu-like symptoms, but they never go down with the flu, you know?
I think it's total BS, to be quite honest with you. Like, I've never gotten the flu shot. Now, I'm not saying I've never gotten sick, but, like, I've never really had, like, a quote-unquote flu, though. I've never been that bad in the dumps. And I've never had the flu shot, and yes, I've been around family and school where people had it and stuff, and I don't know, like, I just feel like my immunity has built up over the years that without taking it, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather take my chances in the world now, not having a flu shot and being just brought up my immunity just throughout the years versus getting the flu shot. And like, I've just heard like, oh, there's a super flu going around, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a super flu and I'm not sick. And it seems like people who took the shot are sicker than hell. So.
Well, life pro tip, if you don't want to take the flu shot, then just wash your hands.
Well, yeah. What do you think I do?
Well, yeah, just saying for the people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of flu shots.
Yes.
Does it maybe, in fact, have relation to another phobia? Another very common phobia called trypanophobia?
Oh, you mean the fear of needles?
Yes.
For me, no, actually. I actually do not have a fear of needles. I'm good if I had to take a shot, taking a shot. I will tell you this, though. This sounds really funny coming from me, but, like, I actually do not like getting blood drawn. Mm-hmm. And it's not the needle going in my skin, it's the blood coming out. I always, I'll look the other way. Or this works. Anyone out there who has gotten sick from drawing blood, this actually works. Put your head between your knees when you're sitting down as they're doing it. You won't get sick. Because there was one time I had blood drawn, and the blood didn't freak me out or anything, but, I had a little blood drawn. And, like, all of a sudden I was like, I feel kind of funny. And they're like, yeah? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you look pretty pale. And I was like, And then next thing I know, I was like, hey, you got a trash can? And they're like, yeah, here. I was like, thank you. But, yeah, I don't know why that happened. But then, like, the last time I've had blood drawn, I just put my head between my knees and it worked. But the funny thing is, when I tell people that, they're like, don't you, like, do fighting and stuff and have been bloodied? And I'm like, yeah, that... totally fine. Like, you punch me square in the jaw and I'd be spitting blood out of my mouth. That's fine. You draw blood, though, apparently I get a little nauseous.
I think it's the fight or flight reaction in your body. Mm-hmm. It sees that, you're getting your blood drawn and you just feel like anxiety or whatever. Not like anxiety, but more like your body is like reaction to it. Mm-hmm. When you're getting your blood drawn, the saying out of sight, out of mind really works.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I get my blood drawn, I just look away, close my eyes, and tell the person, please don't tell me when you're going to insert the needle. I think as a kid, I was scared of needles. Like, I would freak out whenever I'd have to get a shot. Mm-hmm. But over time, after, like, my mom told me to just not look at the needle,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have problems with it at all anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll tell you this though, I mean, like, I'm fine if I have to get a shot, or even if I gotta get blood drawn, I'll just look the other way. But, like, I'm not comfortable with needles in the sense, I've had many people at the gym tell me, like, hey, like, take a round of steroids, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I mean, I've heard now that you don't need needles, but I always associated it with needles, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's not happening. I guess what I'm saying is I couldn't stick myself with a needle.
Yeah, I don't trust myself giving myself an injection.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how diabetic people do it when they have to take the insulin.
shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
from what I see, it's really easy. You just kind of, like, stick it. Like, literally place it against your skin and, like, press a button. But I've administered subcutaneous injections before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really nerve-wracking.
You know, I was gonna say on that, like, if for some reason I had to give myself some type of shot, like, I don't know, but if I just had to give myself a shot, if it can go anywhere, I could actually do that. Like, even in my arm, I could totally, like, just bam and do it if I had to. But, like, if it was like, okay, you need to, like, hit of this vein specifically, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That'd be way too nerve-wracking.
It actually takes specialized training for you to be competent enough to insert IV.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't. That'd be a no for me. So number 7 on the list though, is claustrophobia, fear of small places.
Fear of enclosed spaces.
Small places enclosed, same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I've seen people actually freak out.
Yeah.
On when, like, mainly at concerts. You wouldn't believe people in concerts getting claustrophobic. Like, I've been in the, not mosh pits, but just, like, up in the front, and that's where it usually gets really sardined in, like, because everyone wants to make their way up, like, the pit's going on, so, you know, now everyone's squished together. And I've seen people, like, just, they look fine, and they start looking around, and you notice they're getting nervous, and next thing you know, they're trying to get out.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Some people, though, like, I've never witnessed someone having a bad freak out, but I've heard of people, like, getting so claustrophobic to the point where they, like, collapse on the ground. And I'm just like, whoa.
It's... Yeah, claustrophobia is very real. My sister is, she's not super claustrophobic,
Mm-hmm.
but she purposefully plans out ways to avoid small areas, small places.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't think she likes going to the bathroom on an airplane.
Oh.
Because those bathrooms are tiny.
The funny thing is, your sister's, like, tiny. She's,
Yeah.
like, what, 5 foot?
Not even, I think.
Yeah, not even. Like, she's, like, barely 5 foot, weighs, like, around a buck at best. It's just kind of, like, I'm surprised to hear that she's afraid of, like, tight spaces. No, I can understand, though, being entrapped in a space where you can't move and how it'd be nerve-wracking. I mean, I went to Aftershock last month, and during the Rob Zombie show, there was a point where we did get stuck to where I actually couldn't move my arms, and I could barely move my legs, and the crowd is just swaying back and forth, but I actually couldn't move, and it was slightly nerve-wracking because there was this big dude in front of me, and I was actually trying to get away from him, and it was kind of like, oh man, I can't really move without being a dick and punching someone, you know?
Yeah.
Now, number 6. Astrophobia, the fear of thunder or lightning.
This is actually one of my favorite phobias in terms of the actual word itself. Astrophobia.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know, it just sounds cool.
Astrophobia. I don't know, it's saying it, astrophobia, you'd think it's like the fear of, like, I don't know, it just sounds like some type of cosmic horror type of thing. Then it's just like, oh, it's just thunder and lightning.
Yeah, but especially how should I say this? People don't like random and sudden loud noises and bright lights.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why people are scared of thunder and lightning, or storms in general. Because you just don't know what's going on. It feels chaotic, and it just puts you on edge.
We had a thunderstorm not even too long ago. I forgot when, but my house was shaking. Like, I was like, what the heck is going on out there?
Yeah.
But, I've never really had a fear of thunder or lightning. I actually always thought it was cool, looking outside the window and
yeah,
see
for
the
me,
lightning crack.
Storms kind of puts me at ease.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not just humans that have astrophobia. A lot of animals do, too.
Oh, yeah,
dogs and cats. And...
yeah, cats as well. No, I know though that dogs can get really scared of when stuff like that's going on. I'll tell you this though, I mean, I never was afraid of thunder or lightning, but now, like, if the radio's on in the car and freaking thunder comes on by Imagine Dragons, I get so mad. It's the worst song I've ever heard. It's the same lyrics over and over again.
I don't think I've heard that song.
You would know it if you heard it, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, like, here's the spoiler, here's the chorus. Thunder, thunder, thunder. And it's just like, shut up.
I think they're trying to go for that rolling thunder type sound, where the thunder would just constantly, like, rumble and bellow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's... I'll try to avoid it, I guess.
Please avoid it. I'll tell you this, though. I could walk up to any group of some white boys on the street. I wouldn't even... They could be Imagine Dragons, and I wouldn't even know. Alright, number 5. I kind of understand this one, but at the same time, part of me doesn't understand it, because it's a canophobia, or the fear of dogs. And I love dogs.
Well, not everyone is a dog person. Just something about, I guess, the way that they look and the way that their form is shaped.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of dogs are depicted as, like beasts, wolves.
Well, yeah, I mean, they all come from the wolf family, technically. But, I don't know, like, a part of me understands it, especially people who've been attacked, but there are people I've met who are afraid of dogs who, I'm like, you ever been attacked? And like, no. I'm like, how can you be afraid then, But, like, for the most part, anytime I see dogs, I'm on my knees like, who's a good boy,
This is also one of those phobias that makes itself worse. Because a lot of dogs and animals in general can smell fear.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're scared of them, then it'll actually be worse for you.
There are some animals that definitely, like... With dogs, I wouldn't say it's every dog. Like, there are some dogs that you can tell someone's afraid of them, but the dog will walk up to them and be, like, super friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just tell it's as if the dog's being like, hey, don't be afraid, I'm all chill. Cats, for the most part, I mean, unless a cat comes up to you first being friendly, you can never really tell if a cat, because they're all just kind of a-holes. But I'll tell you this, though, being around horses know if you're afraid of them.
Yeah.
And they don't like it. Because it's hard to explain a relationship with a horse. All I know is that, like, when you're riding a horse, like, you have to, like, tell the horse you're the one calling the shots without being a douche.
Mm-hmm.
And the horse has to respect you, like, alright, I'm gonna follow your lead. But at the same time, the horse is kind of like, well, if you're leading us to danger, I might bolt, But that's when you can really tell, when an animal can tell you're afraid and is going to be like, alright, get away from me. Definitely with horses. Dogs, though, I mean, like, there are some dogs that, they might come attack you because they know, and there's some that might be super friendly, showing that they're not a threat.
Well, before we continue, I gotta say, like, phobias in general are not very logical.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes you say that?
I feel like people who are scared of certain things are scared because they're scared. Like, they can't help it. It's more like a primal fear.
Yeah.
Like, you said you don't really understand kynophobia, the fear of dogs, but I don't think people who aren't scared of dogs can understand why people are scared of dogs, No,
I mean, like I was saying, like, I can understand someone's been attacked, but, like, I guess if someone's never, like, had that experience and they're afraid, I guess I kind of be like,
it's more like a primal, like, feeling inside your body. You just don't know what's causing it, but you know that you feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next phobia, what do you have?
I might say this wrong, forgive me. It's like agoraphobia, the fear of open or crowded spaces.
Oh, agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia, there we go. I understand the crowded, because that's like claustrophobia, but the fear of open, like nothing's around?
It's actually a misnomer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the fear of open spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It's the feelings of anxiety and fear in environments that are deemed unsafe.
Okay.
With no easy escape. It's more along the lines of paranoia.
So it's like walking down South Central LA at night.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Like, you're scared of walking down South Central LA at night.
Yeah.
So you just avoid it.
Yeah, exactly.
But people with agoraphobia, they feel that way in almost everywhere. So they just avoid it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really big mental disorder, I would say. Not along the lines of the more serious ones.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something's wrong.
I can understand that. I've met a lot of people. It's like you want to hang out and they're just like, oh, I just want to stay in. And I'll be like, why? You know, like, it's not like, you know, we're going to do anything crazy. And it's just like, I just don't, they're like, I just don't want to be out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, got it. But, now I can understand it on a certain level of like, you know, I wouldn't just be like, hey, let's go take a cruise in South Sacramento tonight. Or let's go take a trip to the bad parts of San Francisco. But, like, you know, when people have that fear of just kind of going out, period, it's just kind of like, whoa, like, that's, in a way, great. Not that they're crazy, but, like, it's just crazy to think.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of phobias are more primal in nature.
Mm-hmm.
There's no really logical reasoning why people have agoraphobia, but they just do. And we have to either deal with it or help them deal with it.
Got it. Alright, now we're to the top 3. So, you could probably guess them, but number 3 is acrophobia, the fear of heights.
Yes, that's a very, very common one.
Very common.
And it's not that feeling of, you know, your stomach is being flipped upside down when you're looking down at a tall thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just vertigo.
Yeah.
That's your body saying, oh no, the body doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
The body shouldn't be angled that way.
Right.
But the fear of heights is literally that crippling fear of, or that crippling anxiety of where you're ascending in height.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it.
I was gonna say it's funny because I would have to say I am not scared of heights. However, I did go on a ride years ago with a cousin of mine, and it was that one that spins. And when it spins, you're in this little fiend, and as it goes, you can spin as well. So you could be like upside down as it goes. And the seat I was in I think it was near broken because I was sliding back and forth in my seat, and that's what freaked me out. Because I kind of looked at him. He's younger than me. I was like 19, and he's like 12, and he's in his seat totally fine. And I'm like, why am I rocking and he's not? So I started gripping the bar because all I was afraid is that my bar was just gonna the fiend strapped me in was just gonna fly off, and then now I'm like holding on for dear life. That was definitely an experience. But besides that, I like heights. I love going on not roller coasters, like Ferris wheels.
Oh yeah,
I love Ferris wheels.
I always get dizzy at Ferris wheels.
Really?
Like when it's going slow, I'm fine. But when it does like the full rotation and like you're going kind of fast, like that feeling of like ascending, descending, moving left and right, especially when the Ferris wheel like carriages swing. Yeah, it always gets me dizzy.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you done it by yourself, or have you been with family, like on a Ferris wheel?
Well, I usually just go with my family because Ferris wheels are usually in places where you want to go as a group.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've gone on with I haven't done the small ones because I know they do Ferris wheels where it's like only like 2 people can be in a fiend, and then I've seen some where you can have like a group of like maybe 4 or 5, like kind of like in a little compartment that goes. And I've done with family. I've gone the ones where it's like 4 or 5 people, which are fun. I've always wanted to go with a girlfriend and like be on a Ferris wheel. I always thought that'd be really cool. Part of the romantic side of me.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not opposed to going on Ferris wheels. Like, if it's worth it to go on it, like the London Eye, of course I'll go on it.
What's the London Eye?
It's the giant Ferris wheel in London.
For real?
Yes.
That's a thing?
Yes.
Wow. I did not know that. How big is it?
It's pretty big. Like, it's...
Is it the largest Ferris wheel in the world, technically?
I don't think it's the largest, but it's probably one of the more well-known ones.
Huh.
It's literally along the river. And if you're in, like, central London or in the London area that you can see the river, you can probably see the London Eye.
Alright, that's going on a to-do thing. If I'm ever in London, I am going on the London Eye. I will literally record it live on Instagram.
It's literally on, like, right next to the going to the Big Ben on the list of things to do on when you're in London.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought with London, it'd be like, go visit Big Ben, go laugh at the Queen that we succeeded.
Hey, man, we don't want to start any more, country debates here.
Hey, okay.
Like, for me, top 4 things to do in London. Go on the Tube, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, London Eye.
Okay, London Eye. What's the Tube?
The subway.
Oh, that's what they call it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Buckingham Palace, and then you said Big Ben, right?
Yes.
I like to go. Is Big Ben up for, like, public? Like, can people go up Big Ben, or...
I'm not sure.
If it is, that'd be cool. I'd be down to do something like that. I've been to the Space Needle. Space Needle? Yeah, I've been to the Space Needle.
Oh, in Seattle?
Yeah, that was a cool experience.
Yeah.
No, I've always kind of liked heights. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever do skydiving. Not that, I'm so high up. Just the risk of a parachute not opening would be enough to kind of make me be like, I'm not so sure about that one, Chief. But, like, would I watch people jump out of a plane? Like, I'm filming them jump out and I'm just staying in? Hell yeah. Yeah, I do that. My
cousins actually went skydiving for her 18th birthday.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go. You're not scared of heights, but me, yes, I'm very scared of heights.
I was gonna say, if you ever asked me to go skydiving, I'd be like, I'll record you jumping out, but I ain't jumping out the plane. Alright, number 2. That's a weird way to say it, but it's, opidiophobia?
Oh, the fear of snakes.
Yeah, snakeophobia. So,
opidiophobia.
That's, opidio? Opidia?
Ophidio.
Ophidio.
Yeah.
Fear of snakes. Alright, I'm just gonna go with
I'm pretty sure Ophi, O-P-H-I, or Ophio, is actually the Greek word for snake.
Really?
I think so.
I'm actually surprised this is so high up as it is. Like, I'm not saying that snakes can't be scary or, like, people can't be afraid of snakes, but, like, I just feel like that's such an outdated phobia.
It's, like I said, it's a primal feeling. It's nothing's logical about it. Like, if you think about it logically, there's nothing to fear about snakes. All you need to do is back up, give it space, show it respect, and it'll not try to bite you. But just the idea of a snake, something so foreign to so different from the human body.
Yeah.
It's literally one long strand of muscle that has scales and fangs and can slither on the ground.
And on water. Have you ever seen the snakes on water?
Like in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew they could really do that up until, I wouldn't say recent, but like definitely a few years back. Yeah. I was like, no way. They can actually like swim.
If you think logically, yes, you should be scared of water snakes.
Yeah.
Because they just have so much more mobility than you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they can dive, like, deep underwater, but, like, you know, if you're trying to swim away from one, it's a good chance it's catching up.
Yeah.
But, no, I was surprised to hear that so many people are afraid of snakes.
Well, snakes were also a symbol of the devil.
Oh, yeah, the serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense then. But yeah, no, I was kind of surprised that was number 2.
So what's number 1?
Alright, number 1. I think everyone knows what this is. It's every white girl's worst nightmare, and it is not Starbucks closing down. It is the fear of spiders.
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia. Dude, I am surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm just more amazed at how many people are afraid of spiders. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid of spiders, but obviously, like, if I was just sitting here and a black widow just started crawling up my shoulder and you were just like, hey, there's a black widow on you, I'd probably jump and be like, whoa, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously that'd be a natural response, but, like, I seen people... I had my boss at work text me. I'm outside, and he texts me, like, come to the door of the office. And I'm like, what? So I walk to the door, and there he is. It's a glass door. And he's pointing. And I'm kind of looking at him I'm like, what's he pointing at? He's kind of like going like this, pointing down. So I look down, and I don't see anything. I kind of look back up at him, and then he kind of turns his finger a little more, and he's like really pointing. And I look, and there's a black widow web and a black widow not even at the door. The door is on steps, so it would be like 2 feet down from the door. And I look at him, so I kind of cracked the door open. I was like, what? And he's like, can you kill that? And I'm like, you want me to kill that so you can come outside? He's like, yeah. So, I just stomp on it, and I'm like, it's gone. And he's like, oh, thank God. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on now.
Well, first thing, don't kill spiders. Spiders are your friends. They kill every other gross insect in the house.
Yeah, I've never freaked out when I've had spiders in my house. I mean, if I can... I mean, I don't want them in my bedroom, but, like, if I see a bug in my house, I'll try to just relocate it if I can. That doesn't bother me. Only certain insects I'll kill. Like, okay, a black widow for sure, if it's in my house, it's dead. Like, that's given. Or a brown recluse. Or wasp, especially wasp. I'll commit genocide on wasps. But, if I've had moths in my house before, and I've had house guests over who freak out. And I'm just like, it's a moth.
Second thing, not to sound like a broken record, but I feel like arachnophobia is one of the best examples on why phobias are primal. The human body's natural response to anything crawling on you, most notably spiders, is to be ticklish.
Really?
Yes.
I actually see where that's coming from.
I mean, if you think about it, if you're ticklish, what makes you ticklish? It's that light, jittery type feeling that someone, puts on like either your side or like even your arm. And the first thing you do is you want to slap it. You want to scratch it. That is your body's response to insects and spiders crawling on you.
You wanna know what's funny? Doing martial arts so I'm not saying I was never ticklish, but like doing martial arts has made it where if someone tries to tickle me, it's like the sensation is still there, but I can actually hold my composure. So I wouldn't say it's like I'm immune to tickling, but like
you could train your body out of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's really funny, especially like back in high school. People be like, "Oh, I bet you're ticklish," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And then like they try it, and it's like I'm just sitting there like, "See?" And they're like, "Wow, that's amazing." But inside my head, I'm just like, I could have laughed at any point.
I feel like another phobia that's very related to arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Is entomophobia,
which is
the fear of insects.
Yeah, I've met people. There are people I know who just get so afraid of bugs, and not even like anything that would be worth the. Oh, there's a black widow. Oh, there's something that could hurt you. It's just like there's a ladybug, and I'm just like, come on now.
I'm okay with most bugs, but if I see a giant flying cockroach, that thing's going to die.
Okay, let me ask you this: have you seen that in the Philippines?
Yes.
I don't know how I'd handle that. Not in the sense that I'd be afraid, but I would kill every single bug in sight if I just saw one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not sound fun.
It's literally nightmare fuel. And the fear of insects has gone back, like, way, way back in history.
Oh, yeah, we're talking...
Like, insects are the sign of plagues. They're the sign of, like, death and disease.
Yeah, decomposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. There are people I know who get... Or, not I know personally, but I've, like, met people who, like... I've told them that they've known people who, like, at the sight of, like, maggots, they will, like, just, like, hurl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maggots isn't fun.
No, it's not.
But can you believe that doctors use maggots to treat dead.
I was gonna say like green. What's it called?
Yeah, gangrene
gangrene,
or just necrosis or the death of body tissues.
Yeah.
Because maggots ignore living cells. They actually clean up all the dead cells efficiently.
That's actually, I was going to say, it's actually pretty amazing that you could put maggots on, say, someone who's got some dying tissue, and they will just eat the dead tissue. Anything of theirs that's alive, they're just like, I'm good.
But don't put actual maggots on it. Because what they do for medical procedures is they breed the maggots from like certain species of flies.
So it's not just any type.
So it's not like disease ridden. No, it's actually sterile-ish. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I was watching a video about a doctor treating a patient's foot because he had necrosis due to diabetes. And woo, it was a sight. It was an experience, all right.
You know what I've seen freak people out? You know how some insects will technically lay their eggs inside of other insects, and then like, whether it's one larvae or like a few, they'll grow inside, and the next thing you know, they burst out.
That's creepy.
So something that does that is the tarantula hawk wasp. And the first time I heard about that, I was just like, a what now? So yeah, these wasps will lay their egg inside of a tarantula, and yeah, a wasp will just feed, and then next thing it'll just burst out the thing alien style.
There's also a fungus that actually grows on insects, and it literally takes over their body.
Yeah, it makes them like their slave.
That's actually one of the I guess the natural sources of zombies, which we'll probably do in a future episode, but not this episode.
Or in last episode, how you kept saying zombie instead of vampire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I was watching back the recording, and I just kept face palming. I'm like, God damn it! I said zombie again. Ugh. There are actually a few times where I said zombie and you didn't even catch it.
No, I knew. It's just I didn't want to keep being that. I go like, oh, you said zombie, but I kept looking at you and kind of giving you this face. And I don't know if you caught on why, but that's why I was giving you that face, because I thought it was hilarious. I wanted to also see how many times you'd say it.
Going back to the fungus.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people who believe in the zombie apocalypses, apocalypsi, whatever, they believe that zombies are a product of fungus.
I've heard that they're a product of disease. I mean, that's kind of how they mostly go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always, you get bit and the disease.
No, not a disease, a fungus.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I heard someone say that zombies are the primal fear of, like, immigrants, and I was just like, nah, son, that's not how it works. That ain't it, chief.
Zombie phobia?
Zombie phobia? I wonder if there's actually a fear of apocalypses.
Apocalyptophobia.
Yeah.
I'm just making up words right now.
Right. Now, I also took a look at what are some of the rarest phobias. Like, actual, not just, like, someone going, like, oh, I'm afraid of a chair. But, like, actual, like, yeah, there's an actual name for it. And there's been, actual people who have been afraid of it. So, the best that I can find, I'll go, once again, from 10 to 1. So, number 10 is called, like, Phromio... P-H-R-O-N-E-M-O phobia. P-H-R-O-N-E-M-O phobia.
P-R-O-N-E-O? Pronio?
Yeah, it's the fear of thinking.
Of thinking?
Yeah, I was kind of like... that was something that kind of boggled the old noggin. Because I was like, wait a minute, we always are thinking creatures.
I mean, we watched Blue's Clues when we were younger. Gotta sit down in your thinking chair and think.
I did not watch Blue's Clues.
You did not watch Blue's Clues. What kind of monster are you? Next week's episode, we are going to be talking about
the monster that is the Nightstalker. Yeah, no, I didn't grow up with cable, and I didn't grow up with any game systems. I didn't get my first PlayStation until I moved into my first apartment. So, yes, we can do a case study on why the Nightstalker is so weird. So, yeah, no, the fear of thinking, that's something that makes my brain hurt. I just don't know how to even comprehend that one.
You can't even think of a way.
You can't even think about it. Next one is vestophobia, the fear of clothing.
Vestophobia?
Vesti. So it's like vest-I-phobia, the fear of clothing.
I mean, there are nudists in the world.
I know there's nudists, but are they nudists because they actually are afraid of clothes, or is it just that weird hippie mindset of I'm free?
I think it's that, cause you know how you put on clothes and you don't even think about how they feel on you after a while.
Unless you're me.
There are conditions which makes it so that you cannot ignore that feeling. And just that, I would understand if that constant feeling of the clothes rubbing on your skin really, like, sets you off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. We kind of lightly talked about this one. Petronophobia, the fear of being tickled by feathers. Oh, no, my bad. We didn't really talk about this. It's being tickled by feathers. That's an actual phobia.
I remember I read this in, like, a middle school fact book. Or was it in our agendas? That weekly fact thing? But yeah.
People are afraid of being tickled by feathers.
Yeah. I think it just causes their body to react really violently.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe, like, they're so ticklish they have, like, a spasm.
Yeah, like, their body is, like, actually causing itself to shut down due to stress.
Could be. Or they're just trying to hide their kink. But moving on. Number 7, anthrophobia, the fear of flowers.
Anthro?
Yeah, A-N-T-H-O.
Antho.
Antho. Fear of flowers.
Huh.
You know something I messed up on one time? I have a rose bush outside. And one time I thought it'd be really nice. Went back, I was in a relationship. I thought, what if I had a bath for my ex? So I'm drawing the bath, right? And I bring these flowers. I cut some of them off and I bring them in. And I'm washing them in the sink before, putting them in the petals in a pile. I'm doing this and there's nothing but bugs just dropping out of every single flower. And I'm just sitting there like, I regret my decision. But I've like committed.
Aphids or whatever? The little worm-like things?
Not even that. They looked like ants. But like, not ants. They were like half an ant. But anyway, so I'm committed, and I got like 20 minutes before she's home, so I'm committed now. I'm just scrubbing every petal. But yeah, in a way, I kind of understand why people be afraid of flowers. Maybe they're afraid of what's inside the flower.
Maybe.
Or
like if you're highly allergic to pollen, and like the sight of flowers makes you flare up.
I can understand that, especially if you're like extreme with the allergies.
Yeah.
Number 6, neophobia. The fear of...
Keanu Reeves?
The fear of Keanu Reeves.
I mean, you don't really have anything to fear about him as long as you don't harm his dog.
Pretty much. I mean, don't hurt any animal and you should be fine. On a totally unrelated note, there's a other one called neophobia that is the fear of newness. I always understood there are some weird people out there who just don't like change in their life.
Like the Amish?
The Amish?
The Amish people?
Do you think... I don't actually understand why the Amish are the Amish, so I'll get back to you on that, because I'd actually be very interested in talking to an Amish person and being like, so, explain to me your gig. Because I'm sure part of it is religion, so part of me would want to understand, like, okay, what is it that makes you do that you do? But no, it's just the fear of newness. Like I said, people there are a lot of people who just don't like change in their life. And part of me understands that. I mean, like, sometimes you want the good things to just keep going. But, like, I don't know. It was just interesting that some people just don't like things that are new. Number 5 is optophobia. The fear of opening one's eyes. And I think that's in a literal sense.
That's weird.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute. So when you wake up and your eyes are closed, but you're awake, are you like, oh man, I don't want to open my eye?
I don't know how to talk about that one.
Yeah, like,
hold on.
I know you were talking about how, you know, a lot of these go back to primal fears and stuff like that, which I understand, you know, being afraid of certain creatures that could cause harm and, you know, this and that. But, like, you know, I'm like, it's opening your eye. Your eyes. Like, you wake up in the morning. You blink. Like, I don't get it.
Oh, okay, so I looked it up.
Okay.
And it says that this fear is usually caused by a traumatic experience, such as seeing one have a fatal accident and witnessing the whole event.
Oh.
Yeah. Or seeing your boyfriend or girlfriend hugging or kissing another.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's really about experiencing some messed up shit in your life.
Got it. Yeah, that, okay, that actually puts a whole new perspective on it.
Yeah, you just don't want to greet the day.
Yeah.
You kind of just want to, like, stay in your dreams. And I feel like if you have this phobia, it leads to, like, depression and other serious conditions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's definitely something that could get real serious.
Yeah.
Man. Gonna need me a root beer after that one. Number 4. ERGASIO phobia. The fear of work.
Oh, ergophobia?
Ergasiophobia. Fear of work.
Wait, how do you spell it?
GASIO.
ERGASIO.
Phobia. The fear of work. Which, I just... Come on now. We all know this was invented by people who just don't want to get a job done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everyone's got to work.
I think it's linked to performance anxiety. Like, no matter what you do, you always let people down, so why bother?
Oh. I take things too literally. Next one is... Come on. EPH... EBI phobia.
EBI
phobia. The fear of youths.
The fear of youth?
Youths. Like youths. Like multiple. Back in my day, we had so many young kids. Maybe it links to people being older and they're afraid of younger people somehow hurting them or something. I don't know, but like that sounds like pretty funny. Like, oh, old man Jenkins don't like being around the youth.
Okay, so from what I pulled up, ephebiphobia is formed from the Greek ephebos, meaning youth, and it is the fear of, or it is recognized as the inaccurate, exaggerated, and sensational characterization of youth, of young people.
So, like, young people doing stupid things?
Yeah. Basically, young people YouTube subreddit or whatever.
Right, so, you know, those Jake Pauls.
Yeah,
those,
where you just believe that the youth are incapable of doing anything productive.
Yeah, they're, like, going around, like, you know, smoking their vapes, getting their tattoos, starting podcasts, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Number 2, metrophobia. The fear of poetry or rhyming verse.
A lot of these require me to look it up in order to get some commentary.
Yeah, because it's...
Metrophobia?
Yeah, it's literally metrophobia, the fear of poetry or rhyming verse.
Okay, hold on.
Imagine finding a girl you like and like you're like flirting and stuff. It's like the third date and you like write her a poem and like 2 sentences and she just starts freaking out because you're rhyming or you're just saying the poetry.
So, from what I'm reading, it's not like a serious anxiety phobia. It is more of when you're literally it's when your English teacher says, "But why is that so?" when you're reading poetry. Like they're trying to force you to
understand
some artificial scale or like esoteric meanings when there is none. Like, you can literally be like, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so is you, right? That's literally a poem saying, like, oh, you're sweet. But your teacher would probably be like, but why are they comparing roses and violets to sugar?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like, not a phobia, but more like a really big annoyance.
Well, I remember back in high school, there was this one, I don't really think it was a poem, but it was called To a Waterfowl. And the teacher was like, how would you translate this in the English language? And I just kind of looked at her like, where are you going, duck? like that's literally like all I could really comprehend, because it was just all these words, but the main meaning was just the guy was asking a duck where it was going.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I understand being annoyed when someone's like, well, how can you like understand this or this or that, and just being annoyed like, look, I don't know. But like, I don't see there being a phobia of it. And then finally, number 1 on rarest phobias is A-L E-K T-O-R-O phobia. The fear of chickens.
Torophobia?
The fear of chickens. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
I understand too. Moving on. No.
Chickens are ruthless.
Hey man, I'm just saying, do you think chickens are from Earth? Because I don't think they are, dog. I think they're alien species and they were
right. They have feathers, but they have like this leathery little comb and like the little things in the
I'm just saying, man, I've looked at chickens before and I just know they're plotting something, alright? So like, if we're getting to some World War chicken stuff, don't say Nightstalker didn't warn you, okay?
Yeah. I completely understand this phobia.
I get it 100%.
So those were the top 10 rarest phobias that you found.
From what I can find, I mean, there could have been something I missed.
There could be like an even more rarer ones, but that's like that was a pretty interesting list.
I understand reading those like, oh, like that's actually kind of odd that someone could be, have that. Now, back to the most common phobias.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, Professor. If you had to rank them to your personal, like, if you took the top 10, you ranked them yourself on what you are afraid of, not that you're, like, definitely afraid of them, but, like, from, like, least to most, what would you put it at?
Okay. For number 10, well, on my list, I had everything you had, and I added trypanophobia, which is fear of needles, and entomophobia, which is fear of insects. So I'll just ignore those two.
Okay.
So for my 10, I would say mysophobia, the fear of dirt and germs and bacteria.
Really?
Like, I am not scared of that. I know how to wash my hands, how to breathe through my nose so I don't get stuff in my throat. And literally, I went to nursing school. I'm not scared of germs and being dirty.
Right. Just like how we ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Yes.
Exactly.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah.
For my 9, I would say aerophobia, the fear of flying.
That's my number 9 too.
Because I have been flying in airplanes since I was literally 2 years old. And I have no fear of them anymore. Or I was never scared of them, I should say. Like when you said that you enjoy that feeling when you're climbing up.
Yeah, and taking off.
And you're taking off from the runway. Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
What's not fun is landing. Because then your ear starts popping and then you have to be like, oh, I need to normalize the pressure. And it just starts to hurt after a while. Yeah.
I don't know, for me, even when landing, it's kind of like, wee!
Okay, so 10 is mysophobia, 9 is aerophobia. 8, for me, would have to be astrophobia.
Interesting.
The fear of thunder, lightning, and storms.
Okay.
Like I said before, I find storms comforting. Like, I like that little background noise of the rain pattering on your roof, or like the thunder rumbling. It's soothing for me. And then after that, number 7 would have to be arachnophobia.
Okay.
Like, I can understand why people are scared of spiders. A lot of my family are scared of spiders, but spiders are cool. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of cool things, like the ones that
So you'd probably be cool having a tarantula on your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
Like the spiders. Some spiders literally fly in like heavy winds to migrate. That's how they reproduce.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I thought you meant they actually had wings. I was gonna be like, you've heard it here first. Spiders now officially fly. You were about to start like a
like that Charlotte's Web. You know how like she flew away using her web.
I hated that story.
And like it's cool how you can tell if a day is going to be stormy by like literally looking for spiders. If they made their web, then it's not going to rain. Because spiders have this innate sense on whether or not it's a waste of time or not to make a web.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool. So what was that, 7?
Yeah, that was 7.
Okay, 6. 7. Wait. Okay. Actually, wait. Yeah, for me, 6 would have to be Phobia, the fear of dogs.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I had, like, a experience with it. Like, I was walking to school one day when I was in 2nd grade or whatever, and, like, someone's dog literally ran up to me barking and, like, literally pawed at me. And I was young, and that kind of freaked me out. But now, I'm older and wiser. I'm not really that scared of dogs anymore. But there's still that lingering, like, oh, you know.
You're going to hate it when I get my cabin. Because, I'll be honest, I want a companion. I want to get a German Shepherd. And you're going to have to come over and record. And I'm going to have that Shepherd. It's going to be a puppy. But...
Okay, so that was 6. Was that 6 or...
That was 6.
That was 6. 5, acrophobia. The fear of heights. Like, I'm used to it now. Like, going up tall buildings and looking down the stairwell to see that height. I'm not as scared of it anymore. But still, I wouldn't, like, go close to the railing or the edge.
You know, funny enough, that reminds me in... I think it's Yosemite. There's a story, there's a cliff. And there's a story how there's this spirit that tries to get people to look over the edge so they can kick them off. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. You know, if I'm ever up in Yosemite, I'm going to ask around, see if people know that story or where it comes from. But because apparently it's in Yosemite. What's your number 4?
I think I'm at 4.
Yeah, you're at 4.
So 5 was fear of heights. 4 for me would have to be ophidiophobia. The fear of snakes.
Do you deal with them a lot in the Philippines?
I don't... It's not as often as you would think. But, you know, from time to time I come across a snake. And it's better to be wary of it than ignore it.
Do you have any, like, dangerous snakes in the Philippines? Or are they mostly, like, grass snakes?
Mostly grass snakes. But I have been in the water and see a water snake.
Are they dangerous?
Yeah.
Like poison or venomous?
You don't know.
You don't know?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's better to err on that side of caution.
Yeah, no, agreed. If I was swimming and I saw a snake, I'd just get out.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
It's less of a fear, but more of like an aversion. You know, like I see a snake and I'm like, whoa, okay.
Okay, so when snakes attack its prey, you know how they swallow them whole? That's called voring, right?
Yeah.
When I was looking into this, and you know, I looked into each subject. I was looking into snakes and why people are afraid of them, and it shows that some people are afraid of being potentially vored, and the claustrophobic of being stuck. Then I found there was people who have a kink about being vored.
So you researched vor?
Yeah, and I really regretted my decision to look that up, and I couldn't believe that there was a kink for that, and I was just like, what is wrong with people?
In my area of the Philippines, whenever I go visit, there's actually a tourist destination where it displays this giant snake.
Like Python?
Yeah. And it's been like several snake lifetimes, so it's not like the original snake, but the original snake had to be killed because it swallowed a girl, like a child.
There's this crazy YouTube video I saw not too long ago. I think it was in wasn't Philippines. It would have been Malaysia or somewhere around there. And this old lady got swallowed by this big snake. So they actually cut it open. It was huge. They saw it going across the road and they saw that big lump in it. And they're like, So yeah, they killed it and they opened it up and she was in there. But it was too late.
Yeah.
I
think disturbing. A lot of my fear for snakes came from Anaconda, the movie.
Wasn't that with Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, but I watched it when I was young, and it always freaked me out how big that snake was.
Is there a movie that ever freaked me out when I was young? This is gonna sound really funny. I don't know if I've told you this. So, grew up on Disney movies, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't afraid of any of I saw the black culture and I was not afraid of it. But Dumbo and the pink elephant sequence freaked me out. And I had nightmares about it for a long time.
Yeah, that scene itself is really creepy.
Dude, there's so much subliminal stuff in that scene. I don't know, I'm not saying that's what freaked me out as a kid, but I looked back on it and I kind of watched it and kind of saw it frame by frame. There was triangles, Masonic imagery, all in that sequence, dude. It is weird. Well, I mean, maybe we'll get into it if we ever do a real cult episode or Masonic episode. I might bring it up again. But if you have time, just look up the scene. And for people watching or listening, my bad. Look up the pink elephant scene and just kind of pause every so often in between frames, and you will see some weird stuff like the all-seeing eye, pyramids, depictions of war. It's a weird scene.
Yeah, old Disney movies are creepy.
Yeah,
weird. There are some creepy things. So 4 is fear of snakes.
Back on subject.
3 for me is claustrophobia.
Okay.
I do not like being in enclosed spaces. I'm not super bad about it, but I still like my big open places.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you're kind of tall and you're pretty broad-shouldered, so I can understand why you wouldn't want to be compact. You know what I mean? I can understand that.
And then for my 2 and 1, it's kind of interchangeable, but it's more of the number 2 is agoraphobia and number 1 is social phobias.
Okay.
Because that, to me, is the most real phobia that you can get. Because it's not this primal fear. It's actual, you have a problem. And, I have to admit that I feel I think that I have one of these phobias. Because I don't I'm an introvert. If you had a spectrum for introvert and then extrovert, I'm damn close to the edge of the introvert spectrum.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, one of these days we're gonna we're gonna be in a club one day. I mean, just so I can watch you in a social environment.
Oh man, I am a wet blanket in the club. I have been to a few.
That would be interesting to watch, especially being we got friends of ours who keep trying to get us to go out with them. To me, it's just time. And
I do not have fun at clubs.
I'll make sure you have fun at clubs. I'll make it fun. All right.
So what about you? What's your ranking?
So honestly, 10 through 4 are really interchangeable because to me it's more or less being in maybe a situation where it applies, but it doesn't affect me day to day. So 10 is agoraphobia, 9 is aerophobia, 8 is anacrophobia, 7 is fear snakes, 6 is social phobia, 5 astrophobia, and 4 is canophobia. All of those to me are just situations. I love dogs, but I could be walking down the street and maybe a pit bull comes up and tries to attack me. Social phobia, I'm not afraid to be out and about or to talk to people, but maybe there's that one guy who comes up to me and he's just being shady, Yeah. I like flying. Maybe there's one time I hope there's no time I'm on a plane and something happens, but it's all very situational based that I just would not have a fear. So, my top 3, acrophobia is number 3. And the reason being is because, like I said, I have no problem with heights. But if I was in a situation that could be potential life or death, there's only so much you can do if I'm up top somewhere really high and I could potentially fall.
Mm-hmm.
My chance of survival is really thin. I think that's where all my top threes come down to, is my chance of survival. Because I'm not going to kid you all, I'm a fighter. If I can fight my way out of a situation, I'll fight my way out of a situation. But the less odds I have of winning, obviously the bigger the chance of, I might lose or die.
That sounds like agoraphobia, though.
But that's the fear of being in an open place.
No, that's the fear of environments that are deemed unsafe with no easy escape.
Okay, then my number one is agoraphobia. I'll change my ranking then, because number two is actually mysophobia, or fear of germs. And it's not that I'm afraid of getting sick, but what if I get sick with something I can't kick?
Yeah.
And then my number one before agoraphobia was claustrophobia, because literally if you take my hands away from me, or just the fact that I can't move them in a situation, would make me go, oh crap.
This reminds me, I'm kind of surprised that none of us mentioned the fear of ghosts yet.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah, but you can't kick them, you can't punch them, you can't really get rid of them easily. And it is a common phobia.
It is a common phobia, but maybe it's because I'm just a fighter that, if I, was in a place and it was, hey, there was a ghost here, we need to get out of here, and people were afraid, for me it'd be like, okay, part of it is spirituality. I mean, I'm religious, so I'm like, alright, let me see if some Bible quotes will work. And the other part of it is, not that I would try to punch a ghost, but if a ghost were to come up to me and I'm like, I'm ready to go, if I can't really touch it, who's to say it can touch me? And if it can touch me, there's a chance I can touch it. So that ghost can come catch these hands.
There's an anime called Blue Exorcist. Have you watched it?
I've heard of it, never watched it.
It's literally about the son of Satan going to high school to learn how to fight demons.
You lost me at Son of Satan. I'll just be real honest. You lost me. I hate how all these supernatural-based animes or TV shows or movies, it's always on the demonic side. Someone's half demon. Someone's got a demon spirit. It's giving them power. And I'm just like, come on. Can we stop glorifying demonic, energy?
Well, I gotta say, Satan is the antagonist, and the main character hates him.
Well, that's good. I mean, finally, there's that show Lucifer that's out, and it's just it's a DC property, and everyone's like, oh, he's so cool. I'm like, he's the devil! Come on now! It makes my head hurt sometimes.
So your number one is claustrophobia.
It was, until apparently you told me I'm agoraphobic.
Well, it makes sense because you're all talking about what if it's a situation where something happens,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Not that I go outside thinking of situations, but I'd be more afraid in a certain situation versus others. If we just saw a snake sliver in here right now, I wouldn't freak out, but I'd be like, oh, there's a snake in here. Even if it was a rattlesnake, I'd just be like, oh, there's a rattlesnake in here. And, I get up and I, probably, give it the old curb stomp and, go from there. Mm-hmm. But, if I woke up, literally, and I was in the coils of a giant snake, I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? And, if I can't move and fight my way out, yeah, I think the creeping fear would, creep in. But, that's my top 10 in a nutshell. I mean, just to say me as a person, just as long as I have a chance of surviving something, or, or another thing that would, I guess, scare me is not being able to help someone. So if I'm walking down the street and there's a kid crossing the road and a car's coming, but I'm too far out of reach, not just to yell and be like, get out the way, but to actually go and at least jump and grab them and hope that I take the impact, that would be something I would not want to face, not being able to help someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fear of being helpless.
Yeah, just help us, but not even just for my own survival's sake, but someone else's.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would not want someone else's blood on my hands because I failed in protecting them.
Makes sense. I mean, you seem to be the more gung-ho type person.
Who gives you that idea?
I don't know, maybe you're talking about, I do martial arts and I can take a punch and bleed.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I mean, like, what can I say? You know, martial arts, weapons training, I'm your guy. Well, I guess that really brings us to the end here, huh?
Actually, I've, aside from the top 10 rarest phobias, I did actually note some phobias that I think are interesting.
Okay, go on, yeah.
So, I got the ergophobia, which is a fear of work. But I also found phobophobia, which is the fear of phobias.
That sounds like agoraphobia with some extra steps.
The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. There is philophobia, which is the fear of love. So maybe someone who is burned too often in relationships and just doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore.
You know, I feel that. I feel those poor people out there who've gotten burned, you know, giving someone their everything and they either leave them or they cheat on them, you know. I feel that.
And we also have to talk about tryptophobia, which is the aversion to the sight of irregular patterns or clusters of holes or bumps.
I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Some people are afraid of holes, and I'm just like, huh. That's an interesting one. You know something I was surprised wasn't on the top 10?
What?
I don't know what its name is, but the fear of clowns. I swear, I've met so many people
I
who
feel
are
like
afraid
that's
of clowns.
more of a meme fear. Like,
you mean
people
the whole clown pandemic that went on like a year or two ago?
Like, people say they're scared of clowns, but like when push comes to shove, they're like, I can handle it.
I don't know, dude. I've seen those videos where all someone does is dress up as a clown. They just jump out at someone, and people are
That's more of a jump scare, though. That's less of a fear of clowns.
Well, they take off running. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've seen some people where, they jump out, and, the person might be like, whoa, I startled at first, but then, they either put up their hands, or they try to grab the clown to, beat some
Now that I think about it,
mass.
the fear of clowns is kind of prevalent right now, especially with the popularity of It.
And the Joker movie that just came out.
And another thing I found is, of course, hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
Let me take a guess. That is the fear of hippos.
No, that is the fear of long words.
What?
Yeah. Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
The fear of long words?
It's the fear of long words.
I don't have a fear of long words, but I swear if you say that again, I'm gonna go grab something to eat.
And last but not least, there's panophobia, which is...
It's the fear of, sleep?
Cooking utensils, right? No, it's not. Panophobia is the fear of everything.
Oh.
And it is usually only seen for those who have severe cases of general anxiety.
I was gonna say, I feel like you'd have to have some, bad anxiety. Yeah. Or maybe even schizophrenia or something.
And special mention, photophobia. It's not an actual phobia, but it's a condition where your eyes are super sensitive to light. Oh. And it's usually only seen in, as symptoms of other things, like migraines.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when you have a migraine and you, open your eyes, you kind of feel like the migraine gets worse.
Yeah.
That's because you have photophobia. Your eyes are more sensitive to the light, and it's causing damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as a special mention, because it's not an actual phobia.
I thought it was, afraid of being in pictures. And I thought you were going to tell me that's something you had, because I was going to look at you and be like, oh, I'm going to, one of these days, put a picture of you on the Instagram. Maybe on your birthday. Happy birthday to the professor.
Yeah, so those are the interesting phobias that I found. Anything else?
Phobia-wise? No, that's really all I can think of. I thought the clown one was the one I was surprised, but that's really it. I got some questions here that we got recently. So let's see here. Is the professor really a professor? Someone wants to know this.
Yes. But no. But actually, yes. For me, to be an actual professor takes so much more school than what I want to do.
I can understand that.
I mean, technically, if I get my teaching degree and I just teach a class in college, I can technically be a professor. Or, like, I don't know.
Would you ever do that, though?
Maybe.
Really?
Yeah. But no. Right now, I'm not an actual professor. I just call myself the professor because I'm the smart one.
Agreed. Okay, here's an interesting one. Would you guys ever do ASMR? No! We'd be terrible at ASMR.
Right?
We are way too loud and too much of meme lords to do ASMR. I don't even know why you asked that.
I hate ASMR. Like, I can't stand it.
I just think of the jokes, like, or the memes where it's like, and it's always chicks, dude. Like, I'm not saying there's no dude at ASMR channels, but it's always girls. Let's just be real.
Girls with, like, long-ass nails that make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that, and, like, anytime they get super close to the camera, they're always like, hey. And then all I can think that's coming next is, it's free real estate. So,
or, like, you know, it's like, hey, let me whisper in your ear.
Oh, yeah, hey, girl, let me whisper in your ear. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. But, yeah.
I wonder if that picked up on the mic.
Right? I'd be impressed if it does. But, you know, you will not be seeing a Nightstalker or Professor ASMR channel anytime in the future. Or just any time at all. Yeah,
in the future or the past.
Or the present.
You never know when a time travel will be invented. It probably already has. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no for us, dog. We are never gonna do ASMR. Got 2 more questions here. I'll let you answer this one, Professor. How qualified is the Nightstalker to be a paranormal hunter? Someone wanted to know this.
Well, he does do martial arts, as he says. He does own a few guns.
And is trained with such guns.
He does know some Bible verses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more and more familiar with
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is literally average Joe, doesn't really know anything about the paranormal, and 10 are like the Ghostbusters that literally have a magical vacuum, or a scientific vacuum, that can suck out a ghost. I would say he's more of like a 4 or a 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised. I would put myself at a good 7.
Well, to be an investigator, you would need to know more on how to, like, rationalize the existence of ghosts.
You can rationalize that. It says in the Bible there's spirits.
Exactly.
Boom, done.
Like, you reference the Bible first, but instead you should what's it called? You should cross out any, you know, electrical or technological reasons.
Oh, you mean like actual? Yeah, duh.
Like an actual investigate. I'm not memeing here. I'm being serious.
Of course, I would investigate the situation first before just jumping to the conclusion. If someone called us right now, like, "Hey, I think I have a ghost in my house because I keep hearing this noise in my attic at night," first thing I'd be like, "Let me go take a look at your attic." Climb up in the attic, maybe spend some time there, and be like, "Oh, hey, check it out. You have this loose wood that goes like this, and that's your noise." Boom. Investigation solved.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you do go on an investigation, tell me how you do, and I might change my evaluation.
You're not gonna come with me if someone calls us up?
Hell no.
No? Alright.
I'm the logical, irrational one of the two.
What am I?
I'm the smart, irrational one.
What am I?
You're the rational one.
Thanks.
Hey, that's a compliment from me.
I know. I mean, Now, if something wasn't like a technological issue and something was an actual legit paranormal issue, I do feel like I could handle the situation. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay.
And last question, someone asked us, who would you guys like to have as a special guest or guest potentially in the future? Never thought about us having potential guests. I mean, like, I could see, like, maybe a guest, but, like, not like a special guest, like someone who's known in something.
Alton Brown, I think would be cool to have.
Who's that?
Have you ever watched Good Eats on the Food Network?
I've heard of Good Eats.
It was literally a show that teaches you the scientific reasons on why
Food tastes good?
Food tastes good. Or, like, why cooking it in that way works.
Huh. Okay.
And I watched his episode on the Hot Ones, and he was just, like, a chill guy.
Okay. You know, I was gonna say, like, kind of thinking about what we talk about and stuff, there's not really someone in the field in this type of field that I would, like, really want to have on. I'm not saying that everyone out there is a hacker or not or anything like that, but let's just be kind of honest. Like, we do know from seeing some of these shows that, you know, you just kind of know it's a stage thing, you know? Like, I'm not going to come on here one day and try telling you guys some ghost story that, you know, I just, you know, performed an exorcism or something like that, you know what I mean? I mean, like, everyone would be in their right to go, oh, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
You know? But, man.
I just feel like if we have guests on the show, they should be able to add commentary on whatever we're talking about.
That's what I was just going to say. It would have to be someone who could be able to add commentary. Maybe they're a writer who writes, you know, horror movies or books, you know, and they've dug deep in the paranormal to get to be that type of writer.
Or someone who's passionate about the topic we're talking about, the pepperoni. Someone who's passionate about the topic we're talking about for that week.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or maybe there's some type of, like, paranormal historian, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or Donald Trump. That would be an honor.
It'll be great.
Look, let me tell you guys something about the paranormal. That would be the best episode ever. I'm not gonna lie right now. That'd be the best. Just, look, I've met vampires. I've done the best deal with vampires, okay? But yeah, do you got anything to add there, Professor?
Nothing, really.
Alright, I think we've come to the conclusion of our episode.
Time to end this podcast this week.
Yeah, time to end this one. It's been great. It's been a blast. It's been fantastic. Yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Have a good evening, good night, and good luck.